Hey everybody, Steven here with Oddball Publishing. Wanted to fill everybody in and kind of start logging more of just the process that we go through with writing some of these books. Looking to the future with what we're going to do. We just launched Intertwined, a Witch's Fable, which is our all-female main character book this past weekend. That went really well. Working on the third and fourth zombie book with our zombie bedtime story book series right now. With that, it was originally a full-fledged idea that I had, and I'm the one right now writing that. And as I got further and further along in it, it just seemed like something that I wanted to split into two parts. So I'm actually in the process of doing that and finishing out that first part. As I'm doing that, one of the things that I've thought about and I've talked with my writing partner, Isaac, is making sure that because we've split it into two parts, that's justified. If you get that first book, is there enough content? Is it interesting enough? Is there enough meat to it that when you buy it, you're like, okay, that was really, really good, and ending on a cliffhanger, I want to read the next one. And this, for me, with this project, my son being the main character in it, and looking at not necessarily mimicking all of his kind of little quirks and his mannerisms and all those other things for the character, because I want them to kind of be a mixture. I want the character to kind of be his own thing, but also have some of that. I don't want to just depend on that. So looking at some of the things that I see, because I'm writing these kind of as he's growing a little bit, and he's 10 right now, and the character in the book will be 11. And my hope is this kind of comes out next April is what is kind of the timeline that I have set right now. The script or the story needs to be done by the end of December, then getting our artists working on that. But looking at writing that and making sure that it is authentic to that age group is one of the things that I'm really conscious of, and trying to make sure that I don't write something that ends up being not only not interesting for our audience, which that is our audience, but that they fully understand it, they get it, but also that maybe they can grow a little bit with. So that's a hard balance to get, but it's something that I do think about when we write this. And also understanding that we're not going to be able to please everybody. So writing books that I think that my son will be interested in and his peers, and getting input from them as well. And I'll tell him like loosely, like, what do you think about this? This is what you would be doing, like your character would be doing in the story and this, and then I'll get some of that input. And he's just at that age now, and this is the fun part, where he can actually give really good feedback. When he was a little bit younger, when he was 6, it's a little bit harder to get that type of detailed feedback. For the most part, like if you ask your kid, like, how was your day? They'd be like, it's fine, it was good. Like there's not a lot of detail that follows that. It was like, well, what'd you do? Now he gives us those details, so it helps with his input on the book. So that is the plan, and kind of outlining this next year. Isaac is working on a book that he pitched to us at this last book signing that I think is a really, really cool idea. It's going to be for much, much younger readers. And I don't want to give a ton of details on that. We want to turn that one out pretty quick because it will be a much shorter story. So we want to get the short story from him out, the much younger reader base with that, this first part in this zombie book, and then my hope is to get the second part out as well. I really want to diversify after this, because this will be 4 in that series. We're going to kind of move away from that. I have a couple books that I've had on the back burner now, where I've been doing the bullet points and trying to figure out how I'm going to tell that story. I've had that for a while, so we're going to delve into that hopefully towards the end of next year. And then that following year, I want to pump that out. We need to get the second book in Intertwined out as well. Our artist wants to team up, and we want to produce and help him with one of his books. So essentially the way that's going to work is he's going to have the idea, bring it to us, create some of the bullet points. We're going to take that and essentially apply our writing kind of flow that me and Isaac have right now, with creating ideas and doing all that and really seeing where the story goes, but layering on our ideas and like I said, kind of the hard part is I always don't want to get stuck to one thing. A lot of times if I hold too closely onto whatever the idea is, it has to be like that. What I end up finding is that it doesn't allow for a more unique and creative story if it kind of goes off in that direction. Intertwined, I mean, this is the book. This didn't end up exactly how I had originally pitched it and planned it. And that's a good thing. It's actually much, much better. Because Isaac would take it and I would be like, all right, I want to do this. And we'd layer out those bullet points. And then he would take and he'd start writing out that part. And I'd come back and it'd be kind of close, but also vastly different from that. And I'd read through it and then I'd be like, actually, that's better. Or it's halfway, like I like half of this, and then let's tweak this other half to still kind of go in that same direction. So you are kind of like just kinking along that road and slowly getting there. So that's the plan for this next year with all of that. And then, like I said, we really want to start trying to document this process. Right now, I am about 3/4 of the way done with the rough draft for this book, which we're calling Strange Encounters of a Humankind on the zombie book. And you can just tell from the name what's going to happen in it. And with that, splitting it up and looking at it after I go through the rough draft to make sure, is this enough? Is this good enough to justify the two parts? Because the second one is going to be really, really good. But part of the reason behind trying to split it up is it is such a big and grand story that I'm trying to tell this time around, that if you look at our books, I mean, we got 28 pages for the first one. I think we end on 52 for this one, right? And these are 6x9 books. This next one, in keeping with the same size, is gonna be much, much bigger. Like, I'm looking at double this, right? Potentially. When we wrote this out, I can't even remember how many pages it ended up being. To give you an idea, in a Google Doc, this is 70 pages roughly. I'm already on page 31 of the script for this next Zombie Bedtime Stories book. It is going to be a much bigger story, and that's just the first part. If I wrote the second part, which I have a really, really cool idea for that I'm mapping out right now, I mean, you're talking 150, 200 page book, which at this size, we just can't do because it would cost us way, way too much. So that's what we run into, is those cost issues, which we were able to bring the price down on these books. Hopefully over the next couple years, we'll be able to bring down the price on this one as well, because this one's $19.99, but it is our biggest book to date at 120 pages. It's less pictures, it's just more story. And then the next one is potentially going to be much bigger than that. And we'll slowly move away with some of these too. Like the next zombie book doesn't have as many pictures. It'll be more like intertwined, so that I can actually fit all that content in there. And we're looking at how can we tell the story, but really what are the prime pictures that we need that are going to kind of all encompass the story that we're trying to tell, and they're going to hit those very key moments in that. So that's where we're at right now. I'll log more of these. The harder part is, and I'm going to shoot a video on this, is just the struggle of, and I hate to well, we don't have enough time. We do, but we also have other jobs. So I am a personal trainer for my full-time job. My writing partner works for the city in Denver, and then getting us to sit down and communicate and do all those other things. We have other things with writing and working with Zach and all that other stuff, where I'll start documenting on my side, but I can't ask him to do on his side. So that's where it becomes just filming and then trying to cut that together, where it's just our day-to-day, or shooting a quick video real quick before I head into work or something like that. So I'm going to wrap this one up right here. If you guys want to continue to follow along with this process as we kind of pump out more content, please hit the subscribe button for us. We'd love to get questions and all of that eventually also, and just kind of build up a following behind these books. We're really trying to push and tell unique stories that we're not seeing anywhere else. Also, that the demographic that we're going for, the age group that we're going for, are going to find interesting and completely different to anything else that they're seeing. And I think books, as far as the digital mediums, kind of push towards, obviously that it's gone towards the digital medium, but I think books are one of those things that I love a physical copy of a book. I don't like the digital version of it. I might do a Kindle thing every now and then, but I need the physical copy in my hand, and I like to read it like that. So keeping with that, and we've seen an upsurge in all of that, especially with local bookstores as well, which has been really, really cool. So documenting all of that, and then, like I said, getting input from you guys and questions, and creating an open dialogue with our process of how we do this. And I'll showcase some of the other stuff that we have with Kindle Publishing Direct now, and some of the stuff that's gone on with them, and our process in doing this as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll actually put links for these books in the description box, but if you actually want a signed copy, you can always just message us, and we'll try and connect and get that situated so that we can actually send you one of those as well. Thanks for watching.